possible to write a piece of music that has any value at all in just 5 minutes, especially if you'll be composing for an instrument you've only just been introduced to and experienced for the very first time. That was the idea I had with my composing pal Zoë Martlew when we visited Mantawoman, a Chinese-American artist who plays a Chinese Hammered Dulcimer instrument called the Yangqin, as well as getting to meet Manta and their amazing and really beautiful instrument. We got down to work scribbling out a couple of quick ideas. And Manta was kind enough to perform them for us at the end. I think you'll probably agree that 5 minutes is a crazily short amount of time. I think we'd probably make it a little longer next time. No way! That is so short. But that's what we settled on. And to be fair, I think you'll be surprised just how much we got done in that time. Pleased with that?
Was that right? Did I get those notes? Nice. I'm pleased with that too. That was so cute.
So tell us, Manta, what have you got under that blanket?
Ooh. I've got a Yangqin here, also known as the Chinese Hammered Dulcimer, and it's a descendant of the santur, which comes from Persia, Mesopotamia. So, percussive string. What we have here is 144 steel strings, and I strike them with these bamboo mallets, which have a rubber tip at the end. So you get this very colorful sound. There's a couple of different playing techniques, so I can flip the mallets to get a brighter sound. We call it fanzhu, so flipping, yeah, flip the mallets. And then we've also got boxian, which is to pluck.
So each string, we've got 3 strings there, and that's just 3 of the same note, is it?
Yeah, each note has between 1 and 5 strings, depending on the pitch. So it's kind of like a piano in that way, where there's multiple strings per note. I'll play a bit of a Cantonese folk tune. This one's called Han Tian Lei, Thunder After the Drought.
Mantawoman mentioned the Persian origins of the instrument, that's modern-day Iran, and the instrument known as the santur. It's thought they first made their way to China via the maritime Silk Road, so by boat rather than overland, arriving first in the Guangdong province. But variations of the instrument spread all over the world. There are over 60 countries, each with their own unique version of it. Amongst the most famous are the Indian santur, which is smaller than the Yangqin, and the Hungarian cymbalum, which is larger. The Yangqin itself is popular not just in China, but throughout East Asia, for example in Korea and Japan. Collectively, these instruments are known in the West as hammered dulcimers, the name coming from the words for sweet melody, which I think you can really hear in its sound. But as Mantawoman suggested there, they do also have a lot in common with the piano. They have essentially the same method of sound production, a series of tight steel strings which are hit by a hammer or a mallet, and are used as a similar multi-purpose instrument as a soloist, as part of a larger ensemble, or perhaps most typically as an accompanist, like here in some Chinese narrative singing from Sichuan. But compared to the piano, they also have one added challenge. If you play Yangqin, you have to tune it yourself.
If I want to tune one note, I just move the roller. If I need to clean up a note and do one string, I use this tuning wrench to adjust.
I can't even begin to imagine the tuning of this thing.
Yeah, it's basically being piano tuner.
All the time.
So we've got middle C there, C5, C6, so that's a B6. And then down here, I guess that's a D2.
That's a big range,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
Like you don't see in this cabinet of magic how actually
Well,
this
it's
depth.
condensed, isn't it? Yeah.
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 To a piano.
Oh,
We've got about
amazing.
61 pitches depending on how you tune it. So basically between that D2 and that B6, you have almost all of the chromatic notes, save for a couple up top and a couple down here.
Yeah.
And there are actually some pitches that are repeated on the instrument. So the way it's organized roughly is we've got a whole tone scale in this column.
Vertically.
Yep. And then also here. Yeah. So whenever we're playing a normal scale, say we're in D. So each time there's a half step, I switch to the other column. I mean, the best I can sort of convey is that it's really 2D. The scale is very 2D compared to a keyboard, which is a bit more linear, more 1D, which makes playing arpeggios really easy on this instrument. Because you can just really move across the scale in these angular ways pretty fluidly.
So that was a sort of slightly pentatonic arpeggio.
Yeah, yeah. So like.
Oh, wow.
But you know, it is chromatic, etc. This is a more contemporary piece called Spirit of the Yellow Earth, composed by a professor of mine named Huang He.
So if we go into something a little more contemporary, are there some, I bet you've got some spooky sounds.
Yeah, there's
You
some
can
spooky
show us.
sounds. Yeah, one of my favorites is
Ooh. Ooh.
yeah, this one would be.
Oh, I'm loving that. I absolutely love that.
Do you pluck the strings at all?
Yeah, so we can do a bit of plucking.
Not with your fingers?
With my fingers, yes. Yeah, so.
Oh, that's like the zither.
Oh, hello. Now that went somewhere totally else.
Yeah, it's different. It's very soft.
And is there something that you can do where there's harmonics of the string? Like a oh, there is.
That's how that would normally sound, and then.
By now, Zoe and I were desperately trying to scrape together ideas for what we would compose in our 5 minutes, and we had one last opportunity to learn with a bit of hands-on experience with the instrument. So something like that?
Yeah, so you want to kind of cup the hand.
Okay, so do you actually touch the back of the hand of it? Or?
Yeah, you let it sort of bounce against the thumb. Yeah, exactly.
For me, I was focused on how many of the pieces we heard alternated mallets, perhaps one hand staying still, while the notes on the other hand interlocked.
Ooh.
I didn't expect that note. Whereas I think Zoe was far more interested in the weirdest sound she could find on the instrument.
Oh, love that.
So that was it. We rushed off to our separate rooms and tried our hand at speed composing. I had two ideas in mind. Firstly, using that interlocking idea, I found a couple of arpeggio shapes. I imagined these pianissimo, but using the brighter sound of the flipped mallets. And then I wanted a big loud arpeggio gesture to end. I imagined 3 chords, but I didn't quite have time to write them down.
No way. That is so short.
So I explained what I was after to Manta in the rehearsal. Something like that. Yeah. Perfect.
Okay, what's the mood? What's the mood? What's the mood? Ceremonial.
Zoe, meanwhile, was using pen and paper. She'd actually done her homework and learnt a bit of the notation used by Yangqin players as simplified numerical notation. She also used a cipher of note names she had to help her get started.
M is E, A is an A, N. Looking on my trusty cipher chart, N is an F. Those are my 5 pitches. A, because we've got it twice, that could be a flat, it could also be a sharp. Okay, how to start? Let's have full on E. There needs to be something to announce it. Yeah, wood trill.
Zoe then also had her own short session with Manta, going over everything in the score.
Love it. And then that whole gesture leads to a whum on. Can you do a brum?
And then it was time for our very short concert. So does it have a title?
Since your name is Manta, I think this should be Mantasia.
Ooh.
Or Mantasia, depending.
Mantasia.
Mantasia.
It sounds like a stripper movie.
How did you know? This is going to be a whole new vibe.
Mantasia.
Love it, love it.
Okay, the world premiere of Mantasia by Zoë Martlew.
Oh. Oh my God, you're amazing!
Wow, Zoe. Oh my goodness.
Oh,
That was a bit... How did you do that in 5 minutes? Excuse me?
Avant-garde.
Very textural.
I was meaning to think of my title during your piece, and I got too absorbed in the music. So
Oh, nice.
my piece is going to be called Study Number 1 for Yangqin. Thank you so much to Mantawoman and to Zoë Martlew for taking part and for being such good sports. I've linked to all their profiles below, so do check them out. I'll post a few more clips and reactions over on my Patreon, so do sign up there if that's of interest and you'd be also supporting the channel. And do let me know what you think about the 5-minute time frame. Drop me a like if you think it works, or if not, drop me a comment, tell me what you think it should be. 10 minutes, 15, an hour, 24 hours? And also I'd love to hear if you've got any suggestions for instruments or combinations that we could use next time. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Zoe's piece attacked.
She's ruined your
David's
instrument.
piece because I'm having to just adjust the tuning.
It's modern. These effects.
It's great though. It is a battle. It is a battle. After do whatever you have to do.
David Bruce, 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 David Bruce.